Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here, and welcome to 60 and Me. This is the place where women over 60 come to be inspired. My guest today is Allan Roth. Allan is the founder of a company called Wealth Logic. He's been working in the investment world and in corporate finance for 25 years, and he is an expert in all things to do with money and retirement. So I've invited him to come talk to us today about something that I know is a concern to a lot of women, how to manage your money in retirement. So welcome, Allan.
Thank you for having me, Margaret.
Thank you for being here. I'm so happy that you're here because I am not a very savvy person when it comes to finances, and I'm happy to have you to guide us through this really important conversation. Okay, we've done some videos on the lead up to retirement, the transition to retirement, and now we're there. We're maybe 65, 63, 64. We've retired. And a lot of times not even by choice given up our jobs. What do we do to basically manage our finances in this period?
Well, the first year in retirement is especially scary because if you think of it, when we're young, most of our capital is in what I call human capital, years of earning a salary,
right,
a bonus, etc. And suddenly, as we get older, then our human capital dwindles, and hopefully our investment capital is growing as we've been saving and investing well. So suddenly in retirement, human capital is all used up, and investment capital is what's between us, living the way we want to live or living on a pension.
So that is super scary because not only have we actually been earning money all this time in our work career, our mindset has been around abundance and around getting anything we want, that we can get credit, we can buy things like as we want. But now we've got to start thinking about, freedom from money, but how do we get independence without having savings? And, what's the secret?
If you haven't saved, you're going to be living on a government pension. Buying a lotto ticket is probably not going to work. So, I know I'm supposed to inspire you viewers, but that's the bottom line.
No, you're doing, this is the right thing. Yeah, go ahead.
You have to have saved. And then even if you've done the right thing and have saved, I'm still saying that first year of transition is really scary because if stocks tank, it's going to hurt a whole lot more. That financial freedom shrinks, and you're going to have time, let's say in the United States, to watch, Jim Cramer's Mad Money, CNBC, talk to others and panic and sell, which will be the wrong thing to do.
Yeah. So what advice do you give with people who have got stock? Do you basically say, stay put with it, just keep it going just keep it going, or maybe switch to something that's going to give you an income as opposed to having to sell the stocks?
No, I think income is the wrong goal. And it's natural because people that have been accumulators all their lives, it's incredibly scary spending down that portfolio. Mm-hmm. So we do things to try to get us extra income, bonds that are paying an extra 1% only to see them get slaughtered when the market goes down.
Yeah.
So that is the wrong goal. Probably going into retirement, picking a portfolio that you think you can live with. So let's say you're 60% stocks, maybe we go down to 50 or 40% stocks, so that when stocks do plunge, you not only can stay the course, but can rebalance to go back to that 40 or 50% by buying more stocks and going the opposite of the herd. So being more conservative when stocks are at an all-time high.
Yeah.
Sticking with it.
Yeah.
Simple but not easy.
Yeah. Would you say to someone who's say someone's 62, 63, they've retired, they've lost their job, they've actually been made redundant, or and this is happening. Actually 60 is late. Usually it's before that. But you've saved a little bit of money, but you don't have a lot. Is it a time to start investing in your 60s in retirement?
Well, you mean investing some of what you saved?
Yes.
You haven't.
Or Or maybe you get when you are let go from your job, you get some money. You get a, whatever that's called. But or you just have never
So,
you put it under the bed, and you've never spent it. But now you realize you're 63 and you don't own any stock, and you're kind of taking the $100 bills out, but it's dwindling. What to do? Should they buy stocks in their 60s?
the answer is it depends,
Uh huh.
because if you have cash and you put it under your mattress, or put it at the local bank paying 0.01%, where your money will, double in 9,345 years,
Oh.
that is risky. I mean, you're guaranteed to lose spending power to inflation. On the other hand, if you do buy, a broad stock index fund, it's just an ultra low cost owns
Mhm.
every
Mhm.
uh, publicly held company on the planet, that will probably be a good thing with a capital if you're going to stay the course. But if you've never invested before, and the next time stocks tank, you panic and sell, then that would be
I
worse than
didn't.
putting the money under the mattress.
Yeah. So what is the course? I mean, what should you? I mean, people are living now, 30 years more than we thought we would. I mean, in your 60s, you still are likely to live 20, 30 more years. So is that the course? I mean, if you think I'm healthy, I have no medical bills, I've got, a good 10 years of being, is that make it
Yeah.
worthwhile?
If you have the willingness to take the risk, and by the way, we think we have a high willingness to take risk when stocks are at an all-time high like now,
Mm,
and suddenly realize that we're risk averse when they tank. So yes, if you think that you can stick to it, then I absolutely believe
mm-hmm.
you should have some stocks. Now, quite frankly, if we go the other way around, people that have saved a bundle, that have met their goals, as William Bernstein would say, he's a financial theorist and good friend. If you've won the game, quit playing. Then you should take risk
Mm-hmm.
off the
Mm-hmm.
table and
Mm-hmm.
have more fixed income.
Hmm. Now, when we were making notes for this call, you had said something about safe spend rates being ideally at 3.5%. Tell me what you meant by that, because I wanted to clarify that recommendation.
Yeah. If for instance you've saved $100,000, 100,000 euros,
Hmm.
then what I'm saying is, if you're investing it very well, ultra low cost, and you're not going to make those emotional mistakes of buying high and selling low, then 3.5% or 3,500 euros is a safe spin rate that you would then increase each year with inflation. And so, for
Okay.
instance, if inflation was 2%, the next year you could increase it by $70, etc. And that gives you roughly a 90% probability of not outliving your money. So
Well,
that 3,500 plus whatever your pension, etc., is what I consider a safe spend rate.
okay. Okay. So, there's other. I mean, are there any benefits to being 60 years old in this world of investing? I mean, are there any things that are available for us, or things that that retirees can benefit from in the financial world?
Well, there are all sorts of discounts and such that seniors get here in the U.S. I presume that's probably the same
Yeah.
in Europe and Australia, etc. That those are sorts of things. But no,
Okay.
there aren't any special. There are things in the United States, for instance, that certain certificate of deposits at banks, where we are insured by the U.S. government for
Uh-huh.
$250,000, that pay more than bonds and that are safer than bonds, that individuals can do, but Goldman Sachs can't, because Credit Suisse and Goldman Sachs, $250,000 is rounding error.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Doesn't
Oh,
help
and what
them.
was that again? I'm sorry, I didn't know what you were referring to. What was it that's available in this is in the United States, right? You said.
Yeah. For instance, bank certificates of deposits, that's where
Okay.
maybe you
Oh,
take
okay.
$50,000 and they give you a certain interest rate, and you don't have to worry about the bank going under, because there's something called the FDIC, Federal Deposit
To
Insurance
protect
Corp,
you.
that guarantees it. And then there's some more strategies regarding CDs, but that's probably beyond the scope of this
Yeah, but it's really. I mean, as we're talking, I'm definitely aware that I've got 450,000 women that we reach around the world, and probably a lot of them are watching this video and thinking, well, where's the good ideas? Where's the things that I can do? And what you're saying is really that there's just not anything you can do that's magic. You just have to cut your costs. Stay the course on investments. Don't get panicked. Get control of your emotions, and look for things like look for savings, like we talked about. Look for the best price, and then maybe things. I wanted to ask you about annuities. What are they?
Well, if I could just say one thing, I mean,
Yeah,
the closest thing to magic
that's
is
some magic,
avoiding.
Alan. Let me have some magic.
I don't have a quick
Some
get
money
rich,
magic, please.
but avoiding expenses and emotions.
Yeah.
So don't make my industry a lot of money by paying high fees for things, and then don't be your own worst enemy by
Mm.
buying high and selling low. That's the closest thing to magic that I have.
You are a big industry. I mean, the financial services industry is a big industry, and I think a lot of good and bad, and obviously in every industry. But the more you can take control of your own situation, the better.
I've been very critical of my own industry and where I write in AARP, the Wall Street Journal, and even Financial Planning Magazine to financial planners. I've been very critical. So you want to move on to annuities?
Yes. Well, I'd like to know what they are because I had it written down as something that was relevant to us in retirement as a possible thing to do. What are you pro or con?
Yes.
Yes, both.
I'm con almost everything that my industry comes up with, but an annuity in itself is not bad. The concept is you put money aside and then it grows, and then later on it pays out a certain cash flow, often for the rest of your life.
Right.
So it's a really good concept, and there are an immense amount of flavors and such of annuities.
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, when you buy an annuity here in the United States, you're going through two intermediaries: the insurance agent, also known as the financial planner, and the insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes way too expensive. And what we spoke about on one of the earlier videos is delaying Social Security here in the US
Right.
is like buying a government annuity, and I'm absolutely for that.
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, I guess we shouldn't. There's financial services individuals all over the country, but I guess the point is they've got to make money too. So anything that involves going through them or through them and an insurance company is going to cost you money. And unless you start early, probably it's not going to be much value to you in your mid to late 60s.
Yeah. Starting early and then avoiding any intermediaries that you can avoid. And
Yeah.
if paying my son's college tuition, was dependent upon me trying to sell you and your viewers annuities, I'd use this video to try to
You have
shamelessly
a sign up there saying "Buy my annuities."
call 1-800-AL's annuities.
No, I love having this conversation with you because you're totally down to earth and real. And by the way, I love the name of your website, which is daretobedull.com. You should go check it out. And I tell people why you chose that name because it's relevant to this conversation.
I think if you're investing well, it should be very boring, very unexciting. And it's not that easy to avoid, reading the newspapers, the web, TV, etc., telling us that the Great Depression ahead is coming or stocks is going to go up.
Yeah.
Basically, it's not as easy to be as boring as I am.
Well, and thank you for that. And the thing about being boring too is that it's living in the real world, and I think that's where a lot of women we talk about this in our community a lot. Is that if we could turn back the clock, we would do exactly what you're saying. We wouldn't take up chances. We would have been much more thoughtful about that lead up period to retirement. Now we've done it. We've kind of made some. You can't beat yourself up about it. You can't go on forever, feeling like you've made huge mistakes. It's just a matter of, as we talked about, just minimizing your cost and saving what you can, and also just changing your mindset, just dealing with those emotions you talked about.
Yeah, and again, living frugally, studies will show in the long run we'll be happier, because buying that, brand new car, etc., brings excitement for a short period of time until you get the first ding in the door, get the insurance bill, etc.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think this has been excellent advice. Is there anything we've missed in this retirement period other than just hold on to your hats and just do your best?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Dare to be dull.
Thank you, Al.
Have an exciting life in retirement, but make sure your investments are boring.
Thank you, Alan. And actually, you've recommended a book. Is it by Mike Piper?
Yes.
Is there any other book that in retirement people? I know his book is about, are you ready to retire? But is there anything once you're there that helps you to get a handle on budgeting and managing the stocks you've got?
There's a Bogleheads book on retirement, and I can't remember the name. Bogleheads are here in the United States. It's a wonderful site to go to, by the way, bogleheads.org, where people can ask questions on investing, and people post answers without any vested interest. But the Bogleheads Guide to Retirement, I believe the book is called.
Cool. And I know you've written yourself. You write for the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and all these Money Magazine. And I know do you write for Next Avenue as well?
Occasionally, not the New York Times, though, but occasionally, yes. Richard Eisenberg,
yes.
Next Avenue, which is a wonderful retirement website. Yeah. And of course, I write for AARP, which I also happen to think is a wonderful retirement.
Those are good ones. And AARP for sure, and next in the United States, and the Next Avenue, well, they're all relevant around the world. So if you're living, in other countries, Europe or Australia, wherever, these are going to be useful. But Next Avenue is excellent too, because it's like they tend to be very practical, specifically do these 3 things and it's going to be better.
If you Google my name and Next Avenue and annuities, you'll see my view on annuities.
We'll put a link to that one. It sounds like a hot potato for you, that one. Thank you so much, Alan, for taking the time to help us, dig through this, navigate this world of finances and retirement. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Margaret.
Take care. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our 60andMe YouTube channel and also visit our website. We are a strong and dynamic community of women over 60. We're challenging aging stereotypes, and every day we share fascinating stories, interesting questions, and great conversation.